Well, the Orange County DA's office has been keeping some statistics because of the emergency court orders during the pandemic, early release and $0 bail. And that's what Todd Spitzer is going to come on and talk about what they found.
Todd, thanks for coming on again. So,
yeah, gentlemen, thank you.
All right, so all these inmates, these criminals, they can go run out quickly, no bail. What happens next?
Well, let me just tell you, I mean, to Ken's point, so, look, I served in the legislature for 6 years. I know how all those shenanigans are played up there. And I also knew they were going to use this against us. What people don't realize is before Senator Hertzberg put his bill in to reduce bail last legislative session, the California Supreme Court already had a whole committee system in place where they were already working on reducing bail and coming up with a no-bail scheme. So this was really almost a conspiracy, if you will, between the California Supreme Court magistrates and what we call the Judicial Council, judges and justices all over the state, working on this whole scheme even before it went to the ballot. So the voters were smarter than that. They rejected it. But then the California Supreme Court came back after we just said, no, we want bail in California. And they issued this opinion called Humphreys saying, hey, the Superior Court judge has to determine as part of the calculation on bail the defendant's ability to pay. But what I did was during the pandemic, if you recall, the Supreme Court Judicial Council ordered early release of prisoners and zero bail between March and December of 2020, right, at the height of the pandemic. And we tracked those individuals who were let out early, and guess what we found? 44% committed a new crime within months of being released, and those who were on zero bail, they committed a new crime 38% of the time within a few months of release, which is proven this is a complete disaster.
So they know it's a disaster. They know these numbers, and they're doing nothing to change it.
It's not just that. Look, let's go back and talk about the entire woke agenda. This is part of an agenda to capitalize on everything that you can put in a racial disparity box or a prejudice box or a systematic, a mass incarceration. Everything today is a soundbite that results in bad public policy and against public safety. If it fits in this nice little narrative that we're all prejudiced and the only reason we're doing this is to, bring harm to those who are charged with crimes who are of color, people of color. This is just part of the narrative which is destroying our community safety, right? Look at Philadelphia. Len Krasner gets reelected. Chesa Bowden in San Francisco. George Gascon in Los Angeles. This is all part of a much larger agenda to say that the system is broke and it needs to be completely dismantled and start all over again. The public's smarter than that. You guys, thank God, you do this every day and you enlighten everybody. Let me tell you, if I have a moment, just about one case. I had a guy, a gang member, who was charged with vandalism and a gang member enhancement. The jury found him guilty on the vandalism, and they hung on the gang enhancement. He was still in custody, but then COVID hit, and so he was eligible for zero bail. He was released, and within a few weeks after he was released, he got into a fight with his girlfriend in a park in Anaheim, and he killed her. He stabbed her with a knife. She was only 17 years old. Guess what? He is now in state prison for 12 years for stabbing his girlfriend 3.5 weeks after being released on zero bail. This has consequences.
That's a horrible story. Not to mention he only got 12 years for murdering his ex-girlfriend.
Well, yeah, I mean, Anne-Marie Schubert was on your show. She talked about the vagrant who went into a home in a community adjacent where? To the state capitol, just a few miles from where these legislators live and work. And he, murdered an older woman, killed the dogs, and then set the house on fire. I mean, this is what people don't understand. We are dealing with dangerous criminals. You think we're in court, honestly, as prosecutors? I know some people are saying, oh, of course you are. No, we're not. We're not there looking at the color of somebody's skin and arguing on bail based upon what they look like.
Let me ask
We're
you.
looking at the facts of the case.
I know. These people should be in prison because they committed the crime. The color of their skin is irrelevant. What I'm wondering, though, do you think this racism that they shout every 5 minutes, is that the real issue, or is this about anarchy, subversive anarchy, to destroy the American way of life, to just ruin our civilization from the inside?
I believe what's happening with George Soros, the woke DAs, the guy running against me in Orange County put up by George Gascon and his minions, they want to create utter chaos in society because they're anti-capitalist, they're socialists, and they believe that we really need to turn society upside down. This is just one element of a complete agenda, an initiative that fits into the narrative of completely and utterly destroying our society, destroying California as we know it, ruining our think about this, ruining our inner cities. If you don't protect people who live in these communities, right, defund the police and everything, do you know, and you guys know I was a police officer in LA for 10 years, I was a prosecutor for most of my career, it is so racist to try to undermine protection in the minority communities and communities of color. This is where they need protection more than anywhere.
That's why I don't think they really care about this racism, because their policies are causing more black and Hispanic people to die. So they can't possibly really care about racism.
John, the murder rate in L.A. among gangs members is out of control. It's up 300%. George Gascon disbanded his gang unit, to go after this. It is part of it. You are right. I completely agree with you. It is part of a systematic agenda, but they are using this because it resonates right now in America's consciousness, and it's being exploited all for the wrong reasons.
All right, Todd, we appreciate you coming on and making the case.
Thank you very
It's good
much.
to talk to you. All right, Todd Spitzer, Orange County DA, with the statistics that they compiled during those emergency orders from the pandemic last year, March to December of 2020, when you had early release and $0 bail in Orange County. They came up with 44% of the early release inmates committing another crime when they were released. 38% of the zero bail defendants did the same thing. Nearly triple normal recidivism rates. Great policy. Great